मेरे जो डिस्ट्रिक्ट मैजिस्ट्रेट है अभी जिनके अंदर मैं प्रोबेशनर हूँ, उन्होंने बोला था कि योर life as an IAS officer is just like the UPSC mains answer rating. वहाँ पे you are working in an environment of resource constraint. यहाँ पे भी always you're working in an environment of resource constraint. वहाँ पे तुम्हारे पास टाइम कम है, स्पेस कम है, नॉलेज कम है, and you have to produce a miracle. यहाँ पे भी ऐसा ही. So your entire preparation should be that way. Prepare self-study in such a way so that at least that what worked for me, that so that you do not have anything left new to study in those months before prelims and mains. This exam rewards only the people who are consistently hardworking. Make no mistake about it. Let no person ever give you any gyan or any shortcut or anything. It doesn't work. You can ask any person who has cleared this exam. There is no shortcut to this exam. There can be for other exams, but not for this. I stopped reading current affairs because the effort that I would make to study current affairs in that time would bring me lesser return than the return I would get if I focus on revision and practice during that time and consolidation of whatever I've already studied. I mean, that is one thing that I realized through my mistake.
Good evening, everyone. Thank you so much for joining. I hope you are having a good evening so far. My name is Vasundhara and I'm a core team member of Civilsdaily. And with the promise to make it one of the most important sessions in your UPSC preparation, let's just start. So a lot of you might have a different approach to preparing for UPSC. Some of you are maybe studying by yourself. Some of you have joined online coaching. Some of you are taking classes maybe. But one thing that is equal for everyone is that you are up against at least 13 lakh aspirants that are just like you, right? So what is that one thing that sets the top 50 apart from the rest, right? So after having a discussion with countless rankers, it boils down to one thing, that is strategize self-study, right? So what happens is, say with the ranker's mindset, if you really look at it, so every note that a ranker makes, or every material that they pick up to study is driven by strategy and is outcome focused. All right. So having said that, in the same vein, let me just introduce today's speaker with us. So we have Abhijit Ray, who is All India rank 15, joining with us for this webinar, and he's also our super mentor. So thank you so much for joining with us, Abhijit, today.
Thank you for having me.
And also we have Praveen sir with us, who is our mentor head, and he has very important insights to share with us today. Thank you so much for joining with us, Praveen.
Thank you.
So before we start, let me just give you all a quick heads up. We are going to launch Super Mentorship batch with Abhijit sir. So we're just so it's just for 50 aspirants. It's an exclusive batch for 50 aspirants, and we'll get into the details later. So let's just begin today's session of self-study roadmap for 2024-25.
Just before that, there are some people saying that the audio is not audible. So I think we should confirm that it's audible to everyone.
Can somebody please put a thumbs up if it is audible?
Yes, ma'am, it's audible.
I think Shweta, you can check your connection. All right. So thank you so much for confirming that. Before we start, let me just give you a quick heads up. We are soon launching Super Mentorship batch by Abhijit sir, and we're just including 50 aspirants. So just we'll get into the details later. Let's just begin today's webinar. All right. So today's topic is self-study roadmap for 2024. Right. So before much ado, so Abhijit, first question is from you. So what propelled you to guide and mentor the students, and how are you going to help as a super mentor at Civilsdaily?
It has been a long journey for me, especially in 4 attempts I gave. The first 2 attempts, although I gave it the job, I did not have much time to prepare, and I could not clear prelims in my first 2 attempts. And throughout the entire journey, I felt that it's very important to have like mentorship of a level which is not only telling you what to study, but telling you how to study, what not to study. That is very important. And someone who can guide you through, let's say, because this is a journey, this is such a strange journey that everyone has a lot of confusion, lot of insecurities. Yeah, I mean, even I had, of course. So there is always a need of some mentor. So I thought that this is a good platform to get connected with serious students. One of whom I was even a few 1 year back. So that is what propelled me. Yeah.
So, Praveen, you have been running the super mentorship from the forefront. So, can you please let us in on what are the components of mentorship program, the super mentorship program?
Right, right, Vasundhara. See, first of all, like congratulations, Abhijit, for cracking the exam, like and having the rank in top 50. And presently, he is working as an IAS at posted in West Bengal. So yes, yes. See, come to the point. Like, if we'll talk about the mentorship, so mentorship is very, very important as it provides customized solution. Right. Abhijit is our mentorship student, and he has taken the mentorship under Sajal sir. So what required now? See, knowledge base is okay. Everyone must have the knowledge base, and that is the prerequisite. But only knowledge base cannot suffice. So there must be some toolkit, there must be some technique, there must be some smart hacks. Key, you have to write the like minimum bad answer in 7 minutes for 10 markers, right? And the person who will write that minimum bad answers comparatively, he will get into IS. What Abhijit is the best example in front of us. So Sajal sir, like it is like our mentorship based on the central guidelines. We do teach our students कि you have to be in the process, and your duty to follow the process. That process set by Civilsdaily, and myriads of students cracked the exam just because of the process, because it tried and tested. So the component I'm talking, if you'll ask me the component, so it would be like, resource consolidation, target provided, assessment on every week, okay, and discussion by the experienced mentor who has given minimum 2 civil service interviews. And some people are there like rank holders and super mentors, including Abhijit will be there. So Abhijit will teach or will talk about those techniques, those toolkit, कि note making कैसे करनी है, आंसर राइटिंग कैसे करनी है और कब करनी है, रिसोर्सेस पढ़ने हैं तो कौन से पढ़ने, कहाँ से पढ़ने. So everything will be taken care in this program throughout the year.
Right. So from what I understood, Praveen, so super mentorship is a two-phase program wherein सबसे पहले तो एक academic mentor होगा who's gonna take care of you in terms of providing with a personalized schedule first of all, right? And just pushing you to achieve your targets, जो आपके target होंगे, pushing you to take the test and with the assessment. And there is another layer of mentorship in the format of super mentor who is going to be a recent year's ranker, right? And their contemporary knowledge is going to help you with the strategy, what to study, what to focus on, and how to strategize basically, and how to get that rank in the top 50. Right. So this is the format of super mentorship, and this batch is exclusively super mentored by Abhijit sir. So everybody that is interested, we are opening the registrations. So it's just for 50 students exclusively. You can register. Also, you can share your phone number in the chat box. We'll reach out to you if you need more details about the same. All right. So moving forward, Abhijit, what has been your self-study regimen? How did you craft your self-study plan that propelled you to such success?
My plan actually went through a lot of changes. I mean, every time when something was failing, I used to change. But then eventually what I realized and what actually brought me success is that if you stick to the basics, that is most important, and that will make you invincible. I know it sounds very cliched when people say you should revise, practice, strategize. but actually उसी से काम आता है. मतलब if in my fourth attempt, like in my self-study entire regimen, if in my fourth attempt I see, then most of the time I focused on revision and practice. After prelims, before mains, I hardly studied anything new. In the last 1.5 to 2 months before prelims, I stopped reading, not 1.5 months, I mean, not 2 months, but 1.5 to 1 month of prelims, before prelims, I stopped reading current affairs. Because the effort that I would make to study current affairs in that time would bring me lesser return than the return I would get if I focus on revision and practice during that time and consolidation of whatever I've already studied. I mean, that is one thing that I realized through my mistake, that you have to think of it from the perspective of what are you going to do when the going gets tough, and the going gets tough in those last 1 month, 1.5 months, or just 1 month before mains or 1 month before prelims. So your entire preparation should be that way. Prepare self-study in such a way so that I think that what worked for me, that so that you do not have anything left new to study in those months before prelims and mains. Focus more on revision and practice. I can like elaborate in detail, but to cut the long story short here, it is focusing on the basics uh, and being true to yourself. That is also very important. I mean, in my first 2 attempts, I suffered under the arrogance that I'll be able to do it with minimum and mediocre effort because I'm awesome. But that's not the case. That no one is awesome. This exam rewards only the people who are consistently hardworking. Make no mistake about it. Let no person ever give you any gyan of any shortcut or anything. It doesn't work. You can ask any person who has cleared this exam. There is no shortcut to this exam. There can be for other exams, but not for this, because your hard work is rewarded and there is no other way out of it. So being true to yourself, where have I made a mistake in my previous attempt? What had I done wrong? You have to like let your ego aside and do that self-assessment in a very, very brutally honest. And these are the things that sort of work for me, I would say, in my self-study regime.
Right. So, so if there is somebody that is opting for self-study approach, so there are a lot of blindfolds and pitfalls that is in store for them.
Of course,
right?
yeah.
So, what would you tell them about those 5-6 pointers that they should keep in mind, that are the mistakes that are prone to commit while going through the self-study approach?
The most important thing is to know why you're giving this exam, I guess. That is, of course, that goes without saying for self-study or any type of study, because this is an investment of your time, effort, money, a lot of things, sacrifice. Number 2, understand the ecosystem well. Understand what is required for this exam. I mean, we all know, understand this, that we know what is to be done, but everyone has different ways of doing it. So that is very important. Self-awareness is very important. If you're doing self-study, then you do not have 10 people around you who are constantly studying. You're seeing them, you're feeling कि ओ ये पढ़ रहा है, मुझे भी पढ़ना चाहिए. वो आपकी फट नहीं रही उस टाइम. तो you need yourself to motivate yourself. तो वो जो drive होना चाहिए, that comes only from the very crystal clarity in your mind, that why am I even wasting, or let's say investing so much time of my life into this exam. So that crystal clarity, if it is there, that will drive you in self-study if you're opting. Clarity about what is required out of you, self-awareness, like I said, that your way of doing things. For example, just a very short example that I can give you, that in my GS4, it's a very, like what I found is a very simple subject. We tend to make it very complicated. The preparation of that is very simple. But it's simple to me. I felt simple because I understood my first 10, 15, 20 seconds of thought process when I see a particular question in the exam. For that, a lot of things have to be good. Number 1, you have to take care of a lot of things to come to that conclusion. And that will like tell you what is the point that I'm trying to make about self-awareness, is that number 1, you should have given the exam in a 20-question PR format in a stress scenario, a model test. Number 2, you should pay attention to how you exactly think when you see a new question. For example, some completely new question, how do you think? Whatever you have studied, does it come to your mind in the form of points, or does it just come to your mind in a hazy way, and you just, whatever comes to your mind first, you just pick out something, make your own khichdi and then write. So that will decide how you make your notes. So I sort of understood that about myself and reduced my notes of around 70-80 pages down to first 30 pages, then 10 pages, then 5 pages, and then 2 pages just before the exam. Just on the day before the exam, I had those 2 pages. Like GS3, GS4 जिस दिन था, मतलब उस दिन से पहले GS4 के लिए those 2 pages were there, just terms were written, and I knew that this is that, and my mind palace was already made. That can only happen if you have good self-awareness. So these are the things that are very important. I think the self-awareness point is relevant even if you're doing any sort of preparation, self or guided.
Yeah. So a very detailed answer. Praveen, you have mentored so many students and also a lot of rankers. So from a mentor's perspective, could you please expand on this, that what are the pitfalls that the most students can't avoid,
Right. See, Abhijit nicely explained the things which are really very important to crack this examination while you are self-studying. Okay. तो अगर आपको जो pitfalls है ना बच्चों में, वो सबसे बड़ा pitfall है कि उनको डायरेक्शन नहीं है ना, तो डायरेक्शन लेस पढ़ाई हो जाती है. तो मुझे लगता है कि सबको एक अभिजीत भैया की जरूरत है. ठीक है. हाँ, तो ये सिंपल सी बात है, क्योंकि एग्जाम कैसे क्रैक करेंगे आप लोग कि आपको कोई होगा जो हैंड होल्ड करेगा. सी एवरीवन, सबके लाइफ में कुछ ना कुछ भसड़ चल रही है. ठीक है. तो बीइंग अ मेंटर हमारा काम होता है कि हम एकेडमिक नॉन एकेडमिक सपोर्ट दें, हम जहां जरूरत पड़े वहां पे उनको मोटिवेट करें. ठीक है. जहां जरूरत पड़े वहां के उनको स्कोल्ड करें. तो स्टिक एंड कैरेट अप्रोच यूज करके हम बच्चों को परसिवरेंस क्वालिटी के साथ मैच कराते हैं. ठीक है. वो बेसलाइन जो है वो हम मैच कराते हैं. तो जैसे अभी अभिजीत को भी सजल सर ने मेंटोर किया है, तो सबके लाइफ में अप्स एंड डाउन्स आते हैं. कभी लगता है मेरा नहीं होगा. जैसे अभिजीत ने एक बहुत सही चीज कही कि न्यू क्वेश्चंस और सरप्राइज के लिए रेडी रहना चाहिए. तो गाइस, यू विल नॉट बिलीव, 28th of May दिस ईयर्स प्रीलिम्स, शाम को 6 बजे सजल सर, मैं और जीशान सर जो है प्रीलिम्स टीम के हेड है, तो हम तीनों लाइव आए थे. अभी भी वो यूट्यूब पे है. हमने बच्चों का सेशन लिया जो डोमिनेट में हमारे स्टूडेंट थे 550. हमने उनको पूछा कि पेपर कैसा था प्रीलिम्स वाला, बिकॉज हमें पता है बहुत गंदा था. 47 क्वेश्चंस इतने अनएक्सपेक्टेड थे. सीसैट तो आप छोड़ ही दो, मतलब जीएस की ही बात मैं करूं, एंड वो बाउंसर था कि ओनली 1 ओनली 2, फिर कौन, मतलब पैसे थे. राइट. लास्ट ईयर 9 आए थे, इस बार 47 आए. एंड ट्रस्ट मी, बच्चों ने वहां पे लाइव कहा है कि सर आपने ये हमें बता दिया था. तो हमें कहीं ना कहीं वो हमारी एंजाइटी आपने दूर कर दी थी कि लास्ट टाइम 9 आए थे, इस बार ये बढ़ सकते हैं, एंड बढ़े. तो कहीं ना कहीं यूपीएससी हिंट देती है. आपको अभिजीत भैया की जरूरत है, एक मेंटोर की जरूरत है जो आपको पहले ही अवेयर करे. तो always ready for surprises, and that surprises can be taken care if your mind is calm and cool, and that can be done through the process of this mentorship. Because every week आपको टारगेट मिल रहे हैं, every week आपको नया गाइडलाइन मिल रहा है, आपको पता चल रहा है कि क्या चीज नहीं पढ़नी, क्या चीज पढ़नी है और कैसे पढ़नी है. ठीक है. तो उसके लिए हमने जूम सेशंस रखे हैं. अभिजीत सर जो है वो जूम सेशंस लेने वाले हैं वीकली, मंथली. आप 1-on-1 बात कर सकते हो कि लास्ट ईयर सितंबर में मैं क्या कर रहा था. जैसे उन्होंने कहा कि मैंने 70-80 पेज के नोट्स बने थे. अब यहाँ पे आदित्य पांडे और एक हमारे स्टूडेंट है वसुंधरा, रैंक 48, आपको पता है, तो वो भी हमारे स्टूडेंट है मेंटोरशिप के. उन्होंने सिर्फ 3 पेज में लक्ष्मीकांत खत्म करे, सिर्फ 3 पेज में. तो दिस इज व्हाट नोट मेकिंग, आंसर राइटिंग, रिसोर्स कंसोलिडेशन, इसके सिवा तो होना नहीं. एंड वो करने के लिए हम हेल्प करते हैं.
इसके सिवा कुछ है भी नहीं एग्जाम में.
हाँ, उसके कुछ है भी नहीं एग्जाम में.
Down to that, yeah.
हाँ.
So very important point raised by you, Praveen, कि mental preparation is the key. अगर आप mentally prepared हो, you'll be ready for any circumstance, right? So how to go about this mentorship plan, Abhijit? जैसे कोई self study अगर कर रहा है, so how should they even make a study plan? What approach should they take? So किसी टॉपर का रेजिमेंट फॉलो करना चाहिए, या फिर किसी कोचिंग का, या उन्हें अपना बनाना चाहिए, या फिर ऑल द मिक्स?
किसी का रेजिमेंट फॉलो नहीं करना चाहिए. You should, again, self awareness becomes very important here. One should understand one's strengths and weaknesses. focus on only those things that are their weaknesses and try to maintain their strength. For example, if I mean, this is unrelated to the prelims and mains, but interview mein communication skills was always my strength. So I focused on content creation, content usme. So just as an example, but you asked me ki, how should the preparation be, right, for a person who is doing self study. He should not blindly follow anyone's advice, be it rank one or someone who has failed, anyone. He should take the best things that work for that person, and then create a own plan. For example, someone can have a photographic memory. Then revision is not the issue for that person, but uh, being able to remember, but able to write 3.5 minutes by one A4 size page, that may be his problem. So he should focus on that. For me, both the things were the problem. याद भी नहीं होता था और लिख भी नहीं पाता था. So I had to work on both. So these are the things. Self-awareness is very, very important. That will help you reduce unnecessary effort. Because anyways, you are resource constrained. इससे मुझे याद आया, मेरे जो डिस्ट्रिक्ट मैजिस्ट्रेट है, अभी जिनके अंदर मैं प्रोबेशनर हूँ, उन्होंने बोला था कि योर life as an IAS officer is just like the UPSC mains answer rating. वहाँ पे you are working in an environment of resource constraint. यहाँ पे भी always you are working in an environment of resource constraint. वहाँ पे तुम्हारे पास time कम है, space कम है, knowledge कम है, and you have to produce a miracle. यहाँ पे भी ऐसा है. You are expected to produce, but people पैसे
म्यूट हो गए हैं अभिजीत.
आप म्यूट हो गए अभिजीत.
अभिजीत आप म्यूट हो गए. मैं कॉल लगाता हूँ.
आई थिंक लैग आ रहा है इंटरनेट का.
हाँ,
am I audible?
आप ठीक. यस आप म्यूट हो गए.
आप लास्ट 1 minute में यू वर म्यूटेड. आप अभी भी म्यूट है.
Hello,
Okay.
am I audible?
Yes, you are. Yes.
Please repeat what you have said in like last 2 sentences.
ओके, कहाँ तक सुना आपने? मेरा क्या कॉल आया था इसलिए शायद वो हो गया.
Okay. So last thing we heard was आपके डिस्ट्रिक्ट मैजिस्ट्रेट ने आपसे बोला कि रिसोर्स कंस्ट्रेंट होगा दोनों, आपके जैसे मेंस में था वैसे आपके फील्ड में.
राइट, वो डिस्ट्रिक्ट मैजिस्ट्रेट ने ऐसा बोला. तो what I'm trying to say is your preparation style will flow out of your self-aware way of studying. What works for you, what doesn't. For everyone it is different. It is a very subjective answer, hence I will not attempt to give like broad overview, but again it's very important that वो guidance होना चाहिए. जो mentor वाला चीज है, that helps, no doubt about it, because that gives you a broad sort of direction. No one can tell you granularly what works for you, but then people can tell you overall whether this is right direction or that is wrong direction. It is your intelligence, your capacity to inculcate that and move ahead that will either bring you good or bad outcome.
Right. That's very fantastic answer, Abhijit. So Praveen, I want to ask you, how can a student create a study plan that is flexible and yet that is tailored to their own unique needs? Because everybody is so different, right? Everybody's study time is different. Somebody can just say study for 5 hours a day, others can study for 10 hours. So you have a priority ka bhi issue aata hai. So how to curate a study plan that is flexible but that is tailored to my need?
राइट. सी यहाँ पे बच्चों को बताना चाहूंगा कि कस्टमाइज सॉल्यूशन बड़ा इंपॉर्टेंट है. क्योंकि देखो ना, कोई आईआईटी का है तो कोई बीए हिस्ट्री कर रहा था, ठीक है, कोई गांव से है तो कोई दिल्ली में रह रहा है, तो टियर 1 सिटी, टियर 2 सिटी. तो देयर आर लॉट ऑफ थिंग्स कि यहाँ पे बहुत सारे पैरामीटर्स आ जाते हैं. किसी का ऑप्शनल टेक्निकल है, किसी का ह्यूमैनिटी है. तो एक प्लेटफॉर्म तैयार करने के लिए आपको आपका कस्टमाइज सॉल्यूशन, कस्टमाइज प्लेटफॉर्म, एक शेड्यूल बनाना बड़ा जरूरी है. कस्टमाइज प्लानर होना बड़ा जरूरी है. मतलब अभिजीत ने एक बात बहुत सही की, किसी भी टॉपिक का ब्लाइंडली फॉलो करना सुसाइडल है. है ना। यूट्यूब पे आपको भतेड़े मिल जाएंगे, आपको टेलीग्राम में तो प्लान्स एंड मटेरियल एकदम फ्लड है, बट ट्रस्ट मी वो यूजफुल नहीं होगा, है ना। एवरी आईएएस, एवरी रैंकर हैज हिज और हर यूनिक स्टोरी, है ना। तो हमें भी अपनी यूनिक बनानी है। और फिर वो कौन करेगा कि उसके लिए आपकी स्टडी करनी होगी। आपकी प्रोफाइल की 15 डेज की स्टडी चलती है, ठीक है। 15 डेज में आपके स्ट्रेंथ एंड वीकनेस जाने जाते हैं, एंड आपकी वीकनेस को आइडेंटिफाई करके उसको कैटर किया जाता है। तो एक प्रोसेस है, इट्स अ मेंटर क्लिनिक। जैसे आप डॉक्टर को सब कुछ सच बताते हो, यहाँ पे बच्चों ने हमें सब कुछ सच बताना है। तो अगर बच्चे ने वो सच बता दिया तो हम एक एक चीजों को, जो पिटफॉल को स्ट्रेंथ में कन्वर्ट करते हैं। आई एम हैविंग अ रिपोर्ट कार्ड, आई वुड लव टू शेयर इफ allow I will be allowed to share the screen.
Yes.
I would love to share the yeah, the report card what we provide to the student and will, and ये आपको अभिजीत सर को भी भेजना है, ठीक है। So she is one of our students, Shubhangini Dubey. She joined on 21st of February and this is 28th of February का report card, week 1. See the mistakes, fear of reading, maintain strict and discipline in study. These are the high points. Overcame the fear of reading. तो उसको थी पहले एक वीक में जो उसने overcame करी। थर्ड कॉलम में देखिए what are the pitfalls. तो स्टडी अवर्स मेंटेन नहीं हो रहा है, कभी घंटे पढ़ा जा रहा है, ठीक है। और जो हमने उनको मॉक टेस्ट अटेम्प्ट करने के लिए दिया था, जो शेड्यूल दिया था, जो टारगेट दिया था, वो की एनसीईआरटी थी एंड लक्ष्मीकांत का चैप्टर 16 तक था और समाचार मंथन करना था, राइट। अब आप ये वीक 1 का है। आई विल क्विकली प्रोवाइड द वीक 3 रिपोर्ट कार्ड टू यू हियर। हाँ, so this is a week 3 report card, 15th of March, Shubhangini Dubey. Just see the high points. Score 168 marks in test 1, which is very remarkable. Daily answer writing कर रही है, discipline हो चुकी है, fear of examination चला गया है। Still देखो, no one is perfect. अभी pitfalls क्या है कि analysis नहीं कर रही है, ज्यादा like overthinking हो रही है, खुद के notes नहीं बना रही है अभी। तो ये 3 वीक का है। तो after 12 weeks यू विल बी अमेज कि आपके खुद में कितने बदलाव आए हैं। और ये सारे रिपोर्ट कार्ड अभिजीत सर देखेंगे और मंथ में आपको कॉल देंगे, तब उनके पास 4 रिपोर्ट कार्ड आपके होंगे। सो दैट विल बी सिस्टमैटिक प्रोसेस ऑफ ऑफ स्टडी, जो मुझे लगता है लैकिंग है इस एग्जाम के प्रिपरेशन में। देयर इज नो असेसमेंट। आपको देर से बाद पता चल रहा है कि आपका प्रीलिम्स का स्कोर 79 था, क्या फायदा उसका, दूसरी प्रीलिम्स तो आ गई, राइट। तो यहाँ पे ना वो एक सिस्टमैटिक स्टडी का प्रॉपर सेंट्रलाइज प्लान होना चाहिए, जो हम प्रोवाइड करेंगे, जो मुझे लगता है कि बच्चों के लिए असरदार बन रहा है पिछले 7-8 सालों से।
जो भी आपने सेल्फ अवेयरनेस का बोला, इट्स अ वेरी गुड वे ऑफ फिगरिंग आउट वेयर यू स्टैंड एग्जैक्टली इन द प्रिपरेशन, जो भी आपने रिपोर्ट कार्ड शो किया उसके बेसिस पे। सो मूविंग फॉरवर्ड विद द प्लान, अभिजीत, अगर कोई स्टडी प्लान फॉलो कर रहा है, how important it is to set measurable and time bound targets for yourself, and how to actually keep a track of that. So what would be your suggestion on this?
It is said, right, there is a very famous saying that if you want to be successful, first learn how to measure it. So otherwise you will not understand your progress. I know it's easy for me to say here right now this after having cleared this exam, but that is the hard situation that I went through. You have to be able to gauge yourself. Where do you stand? And there are various ways of doing it. Mock tests, how much you're able to cover. How much you're able to cover by studying is sometimes is a little क्या बोलते हैं incorrect way of understanding if we do not have a good outcome based exam or to test whether that study has been giving a good outcome. But normally it's a test marks, and but of course, I mean, the number of hours that you put in, if you are always driven by some mentor or someone who is looking over you as a guardian angel, then it always helps, because that person, you will not want to disappoint that person, and so uske chakkar mein you will do a lot of good things. Yeah, so I think that I don't know how much it answers it, but
right. So it very well answers it. I would like for Praveen to expand on it, because Praveen, we have been doing personalized timetable scheduling and target bound preparation from a very long time. It's been 7-8 years since Civilsdaily has been doing it. So of course, the way UPSC has evolved, our methods have also been evolved. An example of that we just saw. So आपके हिसाब से what has been the most fruitful way of setting time bound targets and achieving it, and how are actually mentors helping in setting those targets and helping aspirants to achieve them?
Right. देखो यहाँ पे ना, am I audible?
Yes.
यहाँ पे ना क्या होता है, सी ह्यूमन नेचर है कि प्रोक्रेस्टिनेशन, राइट, एंड जनरली फैमिली में there is no one to take care of your that procrastination thing with respect to the UPSC. बेटा क्या कर रहे हो? मम्मी पढ़ाई कर रहा हूँ, पापा पढ़ाई कर रहे हो, अच्छा पढ़ रहे हो, हाँ अच्छा पढ़ रहे हो. That's the only vague answers. There is no one to go and take specific and talk about कि what exactly पढ़ रहे हो, नोट मेकिंग कितना हुआ था, एग्जाम के हिसाब से कितना पानी में हूँ, मतलब इन शॉर्ट. ठीक है, तो उसके लिए आपको, और सबका ये होता है 11th आवर पे करना, जब तक कोई डेडलाइन ना दे तब तक कोई कुछ करता नहीं है. दैट इज द ह्यूमन नेचर कि कल कर लेंगे. तो यहाँ पे एक परसिवरेंस तो क्वालिटी है, बट कहीं ना कहीं वो लैक हो जाती है, बिकॉज दिस इज नॉट 100 मीटर रेस, दिस इज अ मैराथन. और यहाँ पे आप अगर किसी को साथ लेके चलोगे तो जर्नी आसान हो जाएगी. ठीक है ना. यू हैव टू डिटैच यूर सेल्फ फ्रॉम द एम एंड यू हैव टू अटैच टू द प्रोसेस, एंड वी डू द सेम थिंग with our students, like those people who are writing mains this year, like almost 372 students who are writing mains this year of this batch. And I'm happy to share this with you, despite having this, despite the paper was really tough and kind of unpredictable, the quality of perseverance, the quality of making their self accountable to the mentor, they are there. तो mentor आपको properly 7 days में एक बार कॉल करते हैं, आपका रिपोर्ट लेते हैं और आपकी पढ़ाई का असेसमेंट करता है, एंड दे डिस्कस देयर प्रीलिम्स टेस्ट और मेंस टेस्ट और करंट अफेयर्स टेस्ट फॉर दैट मैटर ऑन एवरी वीक बेसिस. तो आपको क्या होता है ना, आपको पिटफॉल पता चलते हैं. जैसे आई वुड लाइक टू शेयर स्क्रीन अगेन, प्लीज अलाउ मी टू डू सो. दिस इज द सिविल्सडेली फ्रेमवर्क. आई वुड लाइक टू पॉइंट इट आउट हियर कि ये हम सब बच्चों को देते हैं. यहाँ पे आई थिंक yes, so see, you can see the columns, total score. This is about prelims only. ये हमारे लेफ्ट में जो फर्स्ट कॉलम है वो टेस्ट का है, क्वालिटी बेसिक टेस्ट. देयर आर बेसिक टेस्ट, एडवांस टेस्ट एंड देन फुल लेंथ टेस्ट. हियर वी कैन सी द बेसिक टेस्ट, करंट अफेयर टेस्ट एक्सेट्रा, एंड योर टोटल स्कोर ऑफ ईच टेस्ट, करेक्ट, इनकरेक्ट. एंड यहाँ पे गेम खत्म नहीं हो रहा है. इनकरेक्ट में क्या है कि इनकरेक्ट क्यों हुआ है, उसके डेप्थ तक जाते हैं कि अवेयरनेस गैप था, कि आपने कभी पढ़ा ही नहीं था, मतलब आप गलत डायरेक्शन पे जा रहे हो. पढ़ा है, ठीक है, तो अक्टूबर हीट क्यों हो रही है पता नहीं है सर, तो कॉन्सेप्चुअल गैप है. रिवीजन गैप है, सर कॉन्सेप्ट पता था बट मैं भूल गया, तो दैट इज रिवीजन गैप. एंड एक्स फैक्टर गैप, मतलब क्या, सिली मिस्टेक, नर्वसनेस या ओवर कॉन्फिडेंस, एनीथिंग लाइक दैट इज आल्सो लाइक, वो भी एक अलग उसका चार्ट है. तो ये हम करते हैं, एंड बाय द टाइम यहाँ पे अभिजीत सर भी और आपके पर्सनल मेंटर भी आपको ये चार्ट के सहाय सिस्टम से आपको बताएंगे कि आपका जो नेविगेशन है वो कैसे होना चाहिए और आपको कितना ज्यादा और पढ़ने की जरूरत है. सो पर्सनलाइज प्लान में यही होता है कि इस वीक में आपके पास अगर टाइम कम है तो हम 5 आवर्स पर डे के हिसाब से आपको प्लान देंगे. अगर आपके पास इस वीक में टाइम ज्यादा है तो आपको 8 आवर्स पर डे के हिसाब से प्लान देंगे. और संडे इज अ लीजर टाइम, आपको वहां पे सिर्फ रिविजन करनी है और आपको आपकी हॉबी जो भी है उसको आपको फॉलो करना है, क्योंकि वो आपको इफिशिएंसी बढ़ाएगा. सो एवरीथिंग विल बी टेकिंग केयर कि जहां पे सिर्फ पढ़ाई नहीं हो रही है, एक सिस्टम है जो आपको एक काइंड ऑफ कम्युनिटी आपको प्रोवाइड कर दी जाएगी, जो मुझे लगता है कि ऐसा माहौल तैयार कर देती है कि आपकी पढ़ाई जो है वो आसानी से हो. ये सेम मेंस का भी है, बट चलो मुझे बस क्रक्स बताना था. तो मेंस का भी हम ऐसे ही पैरामीटर लेके बताते हैं कि डिमांड ऑफ क्वेश्चन पहचानी है कि नहीं पहचानी है, स्ट्रक्चर बना है कि नहीं बना है, क्वेश्चन इंटरप्रिटेशन कितने हुआ है, मतलब कोर डिमांड पेरिफेरल डिमांड पहचानी है क्या, एंड कंक्लूजन यस, एंड देन क्वालिटी ऑफ कंटेंट, कीवर्ड्स यूज हुए हैं क्या. जैसे डेमोक्रेसी की बात अगर आप कर रहे हैं तो मैक्फरसन आपको यूज करना होगा. अगर वो जैसे ऑप्शन की मैं बात करूं या जीएस में भी अगर इन डेप्थ क्वेश्चन आ रहे हैं, अगर आप नहीं यूज करेंगे तो मुझे लगता है कि वो फिर आंसर वैसे होगा कि आपको 2-2.5 नंबर मिलेंगे उसमें. सो मुझे लगता है कि एवरी डे आपको असिस्टेंट मिलता है थ्रू टेलीग्राम ग्रुप, एंड पर वीक आपको कॉल मिलती है थ्रू जूम और वॉइस.
Alright, very detailed, very fantastic answer, Praveen. So, Abhijit, for somebody that is, going the self-study route, so what can be their methods of evaluation? वो अपना progress consistently कैसे evaluate कर सकते हैं? And what are some of the methods that you have been, incorporating in your self-study plan, जो आपने over the years incorporate कर?
This is a very important question actually. How do you evaluate if you're doing self-study? Test series, of course, prelims, mains, test series. If you are a serious, what I have seen is that if you are a serious aspirant, especially for mains, this works, that you will know from the quality of the answer that you're writing whether you are on the right track or not. Because the inner voice will keep nagging you, yeah, this answer could have been better, could have been better. Of course, you can't write the perfect answer, but whether you have been able to give whatever you could in that question, that is very important, and that you will know if you are a serious aspirant over time with experience. That is, of course, one way of self-evaluation. Evaluation via tests, mock tests, prelims as well as mains, that is there. Talking to your mentor, telling him your progress and asking his feedback, because he would be someone who is experienced. So he will tell you whether you are on the right track or not. Of course, he will not be able to tell you the granular aspects of it, but overall, whether you are on the right track or not, that definitely you can understand. So I think these are the three primary methods of self-evaluation if you're doing self-study.
Right. So you mentioned the feedback and the continuous improvement, right? So how are we incorporating that, or how do you plan to incorporate that in your super mentorship plan that you have made for the students?
When I ask people how are they doing, they should be very brutally honest with me and tell them whether how they're doing. That is number one, very important. Number two, the overall direction, or let's say their way of studying a particular topic. That approach will probably be similar of the other topics as well. Not technically speaking, but general way of studying. Let's say note making, note banake, they're reading out aloud and then writing at the same time and then trying to remember or something. Then telling me whether that works for them or not. Then I'll be able to share my experience. I think when I share my experience, then a person who is a serious aspirant will automatically know which parts of it to pick up. I think that would be the biggest benefit, I think.
Right. So
because for me, the number of failures that I've had, or the failures, I think for any aspirant, failures would be more than success. I'm not talking about the number of attempts. I'm talking about the micro battles that you plot and then you try to win on a daily or weekly or monthly basis. So the number of failures will be much, much more than the number of successes. So, it's a repository of information or SOPs or best practices that one can tap into, probably.
Right. So, expanding on that answer, Praveen, जो feedback है और continuous improvement mechanism है जो हमारा, these are not just buzzwords for us, right? So we have created the whole plan around this, how to improve, how to what to do next, right? Feedback mechanism. So how are we going forward with it, and what are some of the steps that we do to ensure that the students are getting continuous feedback?
Right. See, this is like very important thing कि जो accountability कैसे आप रखते हो. Every student will be mentored by someone, like a personal mentor, ठीक है, on every week, which I already discussed. Okay, and then Sajal sir and me as heading the team will be in contact with every student after the gap of 3 weeks. Abhijit as a super mentor will be in contact with student. Moreover, we do share the Google form about the feedback, and we do provide the report cards to the guardian or the parents of the respective students that we do. Yeah, this gives accountability because उन्होंने pay कर रहा है हमें, there's hard earned money. ठीक है, so वो बहुत important है कि exactly कहाँ उनसे गलती हो रही है. Additionally, जो भी test वगैरह discussion है, वो हम डिस्कशन 1-on-1 रखते हैं और उसके लिए हमारे पास एक चार्ट है, तो वहां पे हम टिक करते जाते हैं कि SM1 से SM52 सारे डिस्कशन हुए कि नहीं हुए, ठीक है, वो भी एक टैब रखा जाता है, ठीक है। एडिशनली अगर आपको फीडबैक देखना है तो हमारे 3 फेजेस है जो वेरी इंपॉर्टेंट थिंग है। फर्स्ट है बुनियाद फेज, सेकंड है रैंप अप फेज, थर्ड इज अ बूस्टर फेज, ठीक है। और आप बुनियाद से रैंप अप में ऑटोमेटिकली नहीं शिफ्ट होंगे, ठीक है ना, आपके मेंटर आपको ये शिफ्ट करेंगे, उसके लिए बेसलाइन आपको क्रैक करनी पड़ेगी। वो बेसलाइन हमने सेट कर रखी है। आइडियली हमारे हिसाब से फुल टाइम प्रिपेयरिंग कैंडिडेट ने 60 डेज में वो बेसलाइन क्रैक करनी चाहिए, बट इट माइट बी द कंडीशन कि वहां पे अगर आप वर्किंग हो या फिर आप स्लो रीडर हो या फिर आप आप उतने डेडिकेटली नहीं पढ़ रहे हो, लाइक जैसे टॉपर एक्चुअल टॉपर ने करना चाहिए, तो फिर आपको 90 डेज भी लग सकते हैं। तो फिर आपके ग्रुप में आपको बताया, जैसे 35 की बैच है, तो फिर आपको बताया जाता है कि these 3 people will convert to the ramp up phase or will be shifted to the ramp up phase। तो वो कंपटीशन क्रिएट करता है। उसके लिए क्या है कि आपको बेसिक टेस्ट खत्म करने हैं, 4 कोर सब्जेक्ट्स आपको पढ़ने हैं एंड आपको 8 समाचार मंथन टेस्ट लिखने हैं। तो दिस इज द कंफर्मेटिव टेस्ट कि आपने ये लिखा, हमें सबमिट करा, हमने डिस्कस करा, तो यू आर एलिजिबल, यू आर गोइंग टू द रैंप अप 1। फिर रैंप अप में आपकी आंसर राइटिंग टेक्निक्स आपको ज्यादा और अच्छे से सिखाई जाती है, वो 2 महीने का फेज है। एंड उसके बाद बूस्टर को हम कहते हैं राइट लाइक अ टॉपर। तो यहाँ पे तो एकदम आपको ऐसे लिखना है, हम आपको ऐसे पोस्टर में जो स्टूडेंट है वो रैंप अप वाले से या बुनियाद वाले से काफी आगे चला जाता है, क्योंकि बूस्टर को अभिजीत भी बड़े अच्छे से टाइम दे पाएंगे, क्योंकि वो डिजर्व करता है, क्योंकि उसने अपनी मेहनत करके बूस्टर में आया है वो। और बूस्टर में हम हमको वो टेक्निक सिखाते हैं जो 20 मेंस आंसर राइटिंग कमेंटमेंट्स है, जो सजल सर ने बताई है बाय यूजिंग दी फीडबैक ऑफ 250 रैंकर्स। एंड ट्रस्ट मी, अभिजीत भी शायद इसको एग्री करेंगे कि 20 तो बहुत दूर की बात है, 20 में से सिर्फ 13 फॉलो करो, आप 14 फॉलो करो, आप ऑल इंडिया सर्विस में लैंड होंगे। तो इतना आसानी से हम बच्चों को कर दिए हैं। तो ये मैकेनिज्म है जिससे हम अकाउंटेबिलिटी बना के रखते हैं बच्चों के साथ।
So I think chat box में काफी confusion चल रहा है, so let me just quickly just address everything. So first of all, एक link आया है registration का, because we are just taking 50 students, you can register through that link. वो 200 rupees का registration fees है, it will be deducted from your fees. So there are students that are speculating the fees. So जो भी register कर रहे हैं plus come to the webinar, I've attended this webinar, we're going to give you a scholarship fees that will be based on how prepared you are या फिर आपने अभी तक क्या करा है. और even if you are a complete fresher, it is fine, we're just gonna have a word with you and see. एक आप चीज को ऐसे समझिए कि as an institute, if we just have 50 seats, right, we are banking on these 50 people to get to give us a ranker or give us 2, 3, 4, 5 rankers. So it is highly important for us to maintain that quality of the students also. So fees is not that big of an issue. जो भी fees speculate कर रहा है, we're going to provide you with scholarship based on how we find you. Okay, so it might sound a little confusing, but if you're even a little bit interested, just drop your numbers in the chat box, we'll reach out to you, let's have a conversation, and then we'll move forward with it. Also, अगर आपने रजिस्टर कर लिया है, प्लीज आप कर लो, दैट वुड बी द बेस्ट केस सिनेरियो. इफ यू डोंट गो फॉरवर्ड विद इट, we'll refund your fees. All right, we'll refund your 200 rupees, but do not miss out on the chance of getting a seat. That's it. हमारा bandwidth ही 50 लोगों का है. We cannot take more than 50 people because we won't be able to maintain the quality and we won't be able to get rankers. That just defeats the whole purpose. So just I think both the links are here, Shikhar. Let me just quickly, I'll let me ask the next question and I'll drop all the links down again. Okay, just share your numbers and we'll reach out to you. Let's have a conversation and just register for the seat. All right. So my next question is to Abhijit. So for 2024, the students that are preparing, what can be the simplest plan for prelims? How should they approach for prelims? और सबसे ज़्यादा क्योंकि आज के डेट में prelims ही है जो कि unpredictable है. So we all have a lot of ways of preparing for mains. So what is your simplest way of telling them to prepare for prelims, the people that are opting for self-study?
It is my opinion that because these days questions are coming in the format of only one option, only two option, only three options. So this makes the need of remembering things more important. Pehle, you could have like, let's say, played your way around by intelligent guessing or option elimination. But these days, with this sort of format, it's very difficult to do that. So the importance of revision and having exact knowledge becomes all the more important. So in a nutshell, if I have to say, revision becomes very, very, very important. It is more important for you to know precisely and accurately what exactly you need to remember rather than remembering a lot of things. That cliched thing that we used to hear, that reading more sources, less number of times, is not as useful of times. So that becomes even more important now. So I think that would be my like short answer to people who are trying to prepare for CSE 2024, because this exam, at least the prelims level, main sort of it is constant in terms of mains anyways is difficult because of 20 questions and all these things. Very time constrained. It's hugely hectic. For 7 days you have to write. You become a zombie by the end of that period. So for prelims, the entire game lies there. And this exam is such a beautiful, or let's say strange exam, that the most difficult stage is also the most useless. Although personally I don't agree, it is my experience that mains I found it a little more difficult, even though I could not clear prelims twice. That was because of lack of preparation. But what I'm trying to say is, a very difficult stage is also the most useless stage. Once you clear prelims, it doesn't matter whether you cleared it by half a mark or 1 mark or 50, 60 marks. So how do you prepare in the least possible effort with the maximum possible outcome? Analyzing, again, if you try to sit down to analyze previous year's paper, you only have, let's say, 2 papers as good references, because before that the format was different. So I think what I was saying, that keeping the knowledge exact and accurate, and that can be done only through revision, constant revision, becomes all the more important.
All right. So that's a very detailed answer and a very practical answer. I think the students will benefit a lot if they follow that mindset. So Praveen, as a mentor, do you have anything to expand on that? Because
yes.
We do take care of the trends a lot, and we analyze them to
Yes. Am I audible?
Yes, sir.
Am I audible?
Yes, you're audible.
Okay, yes. I would love to add here something. So I would love to again share a screen with you guys, because shortly I'm here at Pune branch. So I have conducted a session here कि जो प्रीलिम्स के बारे में ही था. तो पीवाईक्यू एंकरिंग कितनी अच्छे से काम करती है वो मुझे बच्चों को बताना है, जितने भी बच्चे अभी लाइव है. तो डेफिनेटली मुझे लगता है कि अभिजीत भी उसको राजी करेंगे. तो so this is what is the screen audible? Sorry, is the screen visible?
Yes.
Right, thank you. So see, UPSC CSC Prelims 2023 जो मैंने समझा है, it's all about PYQ anchoring, it's all about constructive thinking, because knowledge तो बेस है ही, but उन्होंने बता दिया कि सिर्फ knowledge से काम नहीं चलेगा, आपको constructive thinking करना पड़ेगा. Word detective, अब मैं आपको example लेके समझाता हूँ. See, guys, this is the question, if you are able to read this. So this is a question of 2023 exam of prelims. I'll just read the statement very quickly, and I'll come to the point ki how PYQ anchoring would help. And according to the UN World Water Development Report, India extract more than a quarter of the world's groundwater each year. ठीक है? तो ये statement it's okay, मतलब ठीक लग रहा है कि more than a quarter of the world's groundwater, क्योंकि 17% हम भी वो करते हैं. अब second statement पढ़ते हैं. मान लो मैं एक लेमैन की तरह इसको सॉल्व कर रहा हूँ. आई एम नॉट एक्सपर्ट, मैं जैसे बाकी एस्पिरेंट्स है उस स्टाइल से मैं सोच रहा हूँ इससे. दूसरा, इंडिया नीड टू एक्सट्रैक्ट more than a quarter of the world's groundwater each year to satisfy the drinking water and sanitation needs of almost 18% of world's population living in its territory. Right? तो देखो यहाँ पे क्या है ना कि पहले उन्होंने बताया इतना पानी निकालते हैं, दूसरा बताया कि almost 18%, ठीक है, बट यहाँ पे कीवर्ड है ड्रिंकिंग वाटर एंड सैनिटेशन. तो यहाँ पे सोचने वाली बात ये है कि यार अगर आप पीवाईक्यू अच्छी तरह से करते, तो देखो मैंने पीवाईक्यू लगा दिया। 2020 का ये एग्जाम, 2020 के यूपीएससी का ये पेपर है। इसमें थर्ड स्टेटमेंट आप पढ़ो, इंडिया हैज द लार्जेस्ट एरिया अंडर ग्राउंड वाटर इरिगेशन। तो जिसने प्रीवियस ईयर क्वेश्चन अच्छे से करे तो उसको ये अंदाजा आएगा कि नहीं, यूपीएससी ने खुद कहा था कि इरिगेशन के लिए हमारा ग्राउंड वाटर ज्यादा यूज होता है, ना कि सैनिटेशन एंड ड्रिंकिंग वाटर के लिए। तो ड्रिंकिंग वाटर सैनिटेशन ये रॉन्ग है, तो मतलब इसको हम एलिमिनेट कर सकते हैं क्योंकि इरिगेशन की बात ही हुई नहीं है। ठीक है, तो उसके बेसिस पे आप इसको हटा दो। देखो सी स्टेटमेंट है, स्टेटमेंट 1 इज करेक्ट बट स्टेटमेंट 2 इज इनकरेक्ट। तो ऐसे बहुत सारे मेरे पास, देखो ये भी है 2018 में आया है। सो देयर इज अ होल लिस्ट, बट आई वुड लव जस्ट बिकॉज ऑफ टाइम पॉसिटी मैंने बस एक बता दिया कि 2020 में सेम सवाल आया था, सेम वर्डिंग है। ऐसे तो मैं आपको कितने बता सकता हूँ जिसमें उन्होंने क्लियरली बताया कि भाई ग्राउंड वाटर जो है ना वो इरिगेशन को ज्यादा लगता है इंडिया में, और यहाँ सैनिटेशन एंड ड्रिंकिंग वाटर। तो ऑब्वियसली लॉजिक से भी आप सोचो कि यार फार्मिंग को ज्यादा लगेगा ना, तो फिर नॉलेज उसमें पढ़ाई की कोई जरूरत ही नहीं है। मतलब ऐसे 25-30 क्वेश्चन हमने निकाल के रखे हैं इस ईयर के। तो बिल्कुल मैं अभिजीत के आर्गुमेंट को सपोर्ट करूंगा कि पीवाईक्यू एंकरिंग, कंस्ट्रक्टिव थिंकिंग इज द की। अच्छा, म्यूट पे हो आप वसुंधरा।
Okay, sorry. So I was saying that let's just pick up a few questions from the chat. A lot of questions have been asked. So सबसे ज़्यादा जो most asked question है, that is CSAT preparation. Abhijit, what should be the approach for CSAT preparation, because it's also getting progressively tougher, right?
As a disclaimer, I would first say that CSAT is not something that I ever focused on. Because honestly, I did not need any help on that. I got very good marks in all the 4 attempts of CSAT. But that being said, these days CSAT is getting very difficult. Matlab, especially last attempt, I heard that even, many good people, engineers, they had a hard time with CSAT. So I think, okay, I am not the right person to guide on exact preparation of CSAT, but all I can say is, from my experience of seeing others, is that one should do a very quick analysis in the initial stages of preparation, taking a actual CSAT paper and trying to solve it end to end, sitting in that exam scenario of that entire 2 hours and solving it, seeing how much they're getting. Based on that, you should decide how much you should focus on CSAT or not, and ideally you should be the last this 2023 prelims paper, because that is considered to be very, very difficult. So वो baseline अगर आपका create हो जाए कि you are good enough, then I don't think CSAT उतना focus करना चाहिए. But for the people who are on the borderline, CSAT can screw you up very badly. That has happened to many people, and that is unforgivable. This exam, anyways, it is so difficult, it is unpredictable. You cannot get good marks in paper 1 and screw up paper 2. So वो गलती मत करना. Take it as seriously as it should be taken. Like मेंस में भी some people ऐसे पेपर को seriously उतना लेते नहीं है, but eventually they don't have a desired outcome. So yeah, but frankly speaking, I'm not the best person to guide on the specifics of CSAT preparation.
Okay. So but let me just expand on that. We have a whole CSAT regimen added with the super mentorship program. So if you all are wanting to join and you're confused if that entails CSAT or not, it includes CSAT. Yeah, so Praveen, do you have a strategy that is that can be a game changer for the students, because CSAT has become difficult?
With respect to absolutely. See, as I have mentioned already, we are having the prelims team head Zishan Hashmi sir, and he has cracked UPSC Civil Services exam, not only civil services but also forest exam 6 times consecutively. तो उनका बड़ा अच्छा इसमें रहा है यूपीएससी में कि उन्होंने अपने स्कोर कार्ड भी हमारे सिविल्स डेली के वेबसाइट पे अपलोड करे हैं. Please, you can have this just as a credential, just to know the credibility of the person to whom you are trusting. Okay, तो उनका 120, 125 प्लस रहा है. तो उन्होंने CSAT के लिए हैक CSAT नाम का 90 प्लस गारंटी, 90 प्लस नंबर गारंटी वाला प्रोग्राम भी हम चलाते हैं. ठीक है, तो बिल्कुल, तो मेंटरशिप में हम ये भी कराते हैं, बिकॉज सी रैंक लानी है तो जो क्वालिफाइंग है तो उसको भी तो कराना पड़ेगा, राइट? तो विच इज मिनिमम बेसिक थिंग व्हाट वी कैन ऑफर टू यू। तो हाँ, हैक सीसैट के थ्रू हम बिल्कुल स्कोर बूस्टर टेक्निक्स बताते हैं। सीसैट की तिकड़म टेक्निक्स है कि जिसको आपको सिंपली पढ़ के करना है। बट मैं आपके लिए आज एक होमवर्क देता हूँ, मुझे लगता है अभिजीत भी इसको राजी करेंगे कि ये बड़ा अच्छा तरीका है कि जिसमें जीएस एंड सीसैट दोनों हो जाएगा। कि सिंपली अब अगर आप न्यूज़पेपर या करंट अफेयर की सिविल्स डेली की मैगजीन है या हमारे वेबसाइट पे जो भी कंटेंट आता है वो आपने पढ़ा, तो डोंट रीड इट एज की जीएस मटेरियल। अगर वो काम का है, सिलेबस से मैच हो रहा है, तभी वो वहां पे है, तो आप उसको स्टॉप वॉच लगा के पढ़िए। पढ़ने के बाद आप उसका क्रक्स है ना 2-3 लाइन में, अगर 500 वर्ड का आर्टिकल है तो ट्राई टू wrap it up in 50 words and write it down on paper। तो 500 वर्ड का सॉलिड, सपोज सॉलिड वेस्ट मैनेजमेंट है, ठीक है, तो सॉलिड वेस्ट मैनेजमेंट 500 वर्ड का आर्टिकल आया है द हिंदू में या फिर सिविल्स डेली के हमारे पेज पे है, आपने पढ़ा, 50 वर्ड्स में आपने उसको कंसाइज में लिख दिया, तो आपके नोट्स भी बन गए, ठीक है, 50 वर्ड्स में आपको पता चल गया। दूसरा, आपका कॉम्प्रिहेंशन स्किल डेवलप हो रही है ऑन डेली बेसिस। तो बस दिस इज व्हाट यू हैव टू डू इन रीडिंग कॉम्प्रिहेंशन, जो लगभग 30 क्वेश्चन 34 क्वेश्चन इसमें है। तो आपको ये रीडिंग कॉम्प्रिहेंशन की एबिलिटी डेवलप होगी, आपके नोट्स भी बनेंगे और जीएस भी होगा। एंड ट्राई टू लाउडली रीड द पैराग्राफ्स या फिर करंट अफेयर, एंड फिर वो आपको अच्छे से समझ में आएगा एंड आप अच्छे से आप उसको कंसाइज कर पाओगे। फिर एग्जाम में आपको ना वो आपका माइंड ही वैसे वर्क करेगा कि आई नीड टू कंसाइज दिस, आई नीड टू कंसाइज दिस, एंड अपने आप आपको आंसर आएगा। क्योंकि क्वेश्चन कैसे आते पता है कि व्हाट इज द बेस्ट कंक्लूजन, what is the best inference of this passage, what could be the title for the passage। तो वहां पे आपको कॉम्प्रिहेंड करना पड़ता है कि भाई लिखा क्या है एग्जैक्टली। और पैसेज एक एनवायरनमेंट का होता है, एक साइंस का होता है, एक पॉलिटी का होता है, हमारे ही सिलेबस के होते हैं। तो
जस्ट एज अ लाइक ऑन अ लाइटर नोट, ये जो पैसेजेस होते हैं सीसैट पेपर में, ये बड़े इंसाइटफुल होते हैं, अच्छे होते हैं काफी, मतलब दीज आर रिटन बाय गुड पीपल। हाँ, मतलब उससे उसको अगर समझ लेंगे, मतलब यू गो बैक होम आफ्टर हैविंग लर्न समथिंग नाइस even while attempting that paper। I in fact remember paper 1 में they asked a question on maternal mortality rate or something, and the answer to that indirectly was there in the CSAT का comprehension। तो मतलब quality of CSAT comprehension is really nice।
बहुत बहुत बढ़िया रहती है। तो आप करंट अफेयर के थ्रू करिए और हैक सीसैट है आपके साथ, उसकी कोई चिंता नहीं है।
ओके, तो एक क्वेश्चन जो और पूछा जा रहा है, दैट इज हाउ टू एनहांस आंसर राइटिंग फॉर पीपल दैट आर सेल्फ स्टडीइंग। कैसे एनहांस करें? सो
प्रैक्टिस और कुछ नहीं, there is nothing
but
golden
how
about
do you
it।
know
Practice,
that you're progressing? आप better हो रहे हो?
आप see like show the answer copy to someone who has been through this process, or see the topper's answer copies, because topper का advice you may not take verbatim, but उसका answer copy will give you a good understanding of the good elements of an answer। And of course, like I said, with a little practice you will eventually figure out a way that what is the right answer or what is the wrong answer। For example, you don't have time to write verbose answers, you have to write very short crisp words। तो ये मुझे याद है समाचार मंथन में when I was enrolled, verbosity हटाना is one thing I learned through practicing those weekly tests। तो सजल सर used to correct my answer copy and used to say verbosity reduce करो। तो फिर मैं next week के टेस्ट में I used to ask him after writing the answers कि has my verbosity reduced। तो वो next week उसको correct करके write करते थे, हाँ yes it has reduced, keep going but you can do more, ऐसे करके होता था। तो जैसे these things, so with time you will eventually see the topper's answer copies as well as see show your answer copy to someone who is experienced in this process।
So I think I want to read a very special question. This is from Ganesh. So he says that he has had 3 failed attempts, and the last time in his prelims were 1.37 marks, and he is feeling like he's on the verge of breaking down, preparing for other central level exams. But deep down, I feel like I'm betraying myself. Cracking CSE is my ultimate goal, and I don't know how should I pick myself up from these debacles. So he has given 3 attempts.
Yeah, I was in this exact situation after my 3rd attempt। My first attempt I could not clear prelims by a huge margin, second attempt I could not clear by a very small margin, the third attempt I cleared by 0.7 marks। so that could have been this way or that way. But of course I could not clear mains, and that time I thought that of course not that time, but after my second failure, I was almost on the verge of giving up. But then eventually it turned out that I left my job and got more serious about it. Uh, the thing to keep in mind is this is a problem that everyone will face. No, you are not the only person who is facing this insecurity of this exam. Again, this goes after saying that the financial status of the family that is supporting you and other things are okay to support you. But if you can, then this is the test, that whether you give up or not. Because in service, trust me, even while training, I am facing many situations where I feel like भाई ये नहीं implement कर रहा मैं, क्योंकि इसमें जितना पापड़ बेलने पड़ रहे, it's not worth it. But it is worth it. At the end of the day, when you see the smile in the beneficiary's face who has nothing but only the administration to look up to for his or her benefits, then that is completely worth it. So this anxiety, this feeling of hopelessness is very common, and you have to get out of it. Just know that it should be I mean, the way I kept myself motivated is by trying to ensure that my next day will be better than the previous day. So that those small battles that keeps you motivated. So that worked for me.
On the same lines, I think Shikhar has asked how not to be distracted by plan B. I think you left your job right after the first attempts.
How not to be distracted by? I'm sorry.
Plan B, the plan B, career plan B.
Acha, plan B. It depends on how clear you are in your mind that you need to do this. अंदर से voice आ जाता है यार, you are not able to give your 100% somehow or the other if you are brutally honest with yourself. And if that voice is raging inside you, then you will keep going, yaar, if you are really serious about it. But there are people who give up, not only for their lack of willpower, but for other reasons as well. Other reasons के लिए, I am not the competent person to say, because everyone has their own struggles. But for someone who can do it, who can afford to keep giving attempts, or give at least one more attempt, and not doing it because you've given up, that is, I think, criminal. Don't make the same mistake twice. I mean, learn from your mistakes. It is human to make mistakes, but it is criminal to make the same mistake twice.
So the baseline is to not give up, and also like we as civilians, we deserve IAS, IPS officers, civil servants that do not give up. Okay, from the civilian's perspective, think about it. You want your leaders to be of that metal, right? So don't give up. It's okay if you're. There's a reason why minimum 6 attempts are there. Obviously, age is a constant, but there's a reason why there are 6 attempts.
There's a reason why this exam is made unnecessarily difficult. I mean, it can be done in a less difficult way, but they don't do it. There is a reason for it. This is the reason that they want to filter you out.
And plus, also, there, this is a test for what is there to come. I think Abhijit was explaining on that.
Of course, yeah. मतलब पहले लगता था कि preparation हो गया, मेहनत करनी, पढ़ना नहीं पड़ेगा. भाई सिविल सर्विस में आने के बाद तो पढ़ना स्टार्ट हुआ है. हर मेमो, हर चीज पढ़ना पड़ता है. Because if you sign without reading it, then you are अपने पैर पे कुल्हाड़ी मार रहे हो. तो मतलब you have to be really क्या बोलते, conversant with what you are doing. So that requires constant updation of your knowledge. So otherwise, you'll end up being a subpar officer, which doesn't make any sense.
So, and we deserve better officers, right? We deserve officers that don't give up. So a very detailed, a very good session. Thank you so much to the both of you for joining and for sharing your invaluable insights. Do you have any?
Yes. So see, मेरी तरफ से तो इतना ही है कि मतलब जब जागो तब सवेरा, ठीक है. अगर इस सेशन से आप इनलाइट हुए हो, अगर आपको लगता है कि सर अब मैं अब स्टार्ट कर सकता हूँ क्या, तो डेफिनेटली आप कर सकते हो. अभी भी 9.5 महीने हैं प्रीलिम्स के लिए और 3 महीने हैं मेंस के लिए, तो अराउंड 13 मंथ्स है. एंड डेफिनेटली इट इज डूएबल. पवन दत्ता ऑल इंडिया रैंक 22, हमारे यहाँ पे सुपर मेंटोर भी है, राइट वसुंधरा. तो उन्होंने 7 मंथ में प्रिपरेशन, 7 मंथ बचे थे प्री के पहले, है ना. एंड ही क्रैक्ड प्री मेंस इंटरव्यू एंड रैंक 22. सो अभी लास्ट समय है. फर्स्ट अटेम्प्ट में, राइट। सो अगर वो कर सकते हैं तो हम कर सकते हैं, और हम रेडी है, क्या आप रेडी हैं? ठीक है, तो चलो साथ में मिलके करते हैं। अभिजीत भैया है हमारे, और जो वो बस हमें निकालने वाले हैं। तो टॉप 50, सी आई कैन नॉट गारंटी कि एडमिशन किन किन का होगा, तो रजिस्ट्रेशन तो सबने कर रखा है, बट जो भी फर्स्ट कम फर्स्ट सर्व पे टॉप 50 आएंगे, आई लाइक इट्स माय वर्ड्स, आई विल ब्रेक माय ब्रेन, आई विल ब्रेक माय हैंड, आई विल ब्रेक माय नेक to make you qualify and to achieve your dream. Thank you.
Thank you so much. Very enlightening session and very powerful words from you, Praveen. So, Abhijit, do you have any closing lines?
Being true to yourself is most important here. I mean, that is what worked for me eventually. Other things will follow. If you're true to yourself, you'll know that you're not giving enough, so you'll give enough. That's it. I mean, being true to yourself. It's very simplistic answer, but what I've realized is that in this exam, sticking to the fundamentals is much more helpful than doing a lot of crazy things, too much experiment. That doesn't help. Sticking to the fundamentals is very important.
Thank you so much for joining, everyone. I hope you all take away a few points and incorporate it in your preparation. Thank you so much for joining.
Thank you.